Come on, we out here. We out here. I'm outside. Okay. I'm outside. Come on, shake some. Come on.
Got a minor request. Hope everybody having a phenomenal morning. Got a small request, man. Stop.
They wasn't talk like that outside. Hey, I can talk how the fuck I want to wherever I'm at. I'm on live, shawty. Stop.
King Harris, the son of legendary rapper T.I. and the well-known reality TV star Tamika, Tiny, Harris, has been making waves recently, but not in the way his famous parents might have hoped. His name, which once appeared on reality TV as part of the Harris family dynamic, has now been splashed across social media and entertainment outlets, often associated with controversy, rebellion, and heated drama. As a public figure from the time he was a child, King's journey has unfolded in front of the world. But, in recent months, his actions have left fans, critics, and even his own family, questioning where he's headed and whether he's spiraling out of control. King was born on August 25, 2004, into a world of fame, fortune, and public scrutiny. From an early age, his life was different from most children. While many kids grow up in relative privacy, King's childhood was broadcast
Hitting me and giving me my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son.
Talking to me. Stop talking to me. This ain't your fucking restaurant. This ain't your fucking restaurant.
On national television through his family's reality series, T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. His parents, T.I. and Tiny, were already celebrities, and they made sure to involve their children in their public lives. King, the middle child in a family of 6, was no stranger to the camera. He was charismatic, cheeky, and often portrayed as the funny, outgoing kid with a personality big enough to match his famous parents. However, as King transitioned from a child star into a young adult, the pressure of living in the spotlight became harder to bear. At 19, King was facing a new reality, one that didn't include the controlled environment of reality TV and the comforting presence of his parents in every scene. Instead, he was now expected to carve out his own path and live up to the expectations of both his famous family and the public. The path, however, hasn't been smooth. Being a public figure means your every move is dissected, and for King, that scrutiny has only intensified. Over the past few months, King found himself at the center of several incidents that caught the attention of social media, making headlines for all the wrong reasons. There were heated rants, controversial comments, and a number of incidents that escalated publicly, prompting online debates about his behavior, upbringing, and what it means to grow up under the harsh glare of fame.
Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmama?
Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on.
One of the most talked about moments was when King found himself involved in a verbal altercation that went viral. In a video clip, King was seen engaged in a heated confrontation with someone that quickly escalated into a public spectacle. Fans who had watched him grow up on TV were taken aback by his behavior. Some defended him, saying he was just a young man trying to figure himself out, while others criticized him, suggesting that his sense of entitlement and lack of respect for boundaries was the result of growing up with too much privilege. The situation took a dramatic turn when his father, T.I., was forced to address the public spectacle. During an interview, T.I. admitted to being deeply concerned about the path King was heading down. His frustration was evident, and he didn't mince words when he spoke about the challenges of raising a teenager in the public eye. T.I. made it clear that he was worried for his son's future, stating, "He's going to have to learn the hard way." It was clear that T.I. had reached his breaking point, feeling that no matter what he said or did, his son wasn't listening. In a candid moment, T.I. shared the personal toll it was taking on him as a father. Raising children in the public eye is difficult enough, but when your child is testing boundaries and making mistakes in front of millions of people, the pressure is amplified. As a father, T.I. expressed how helpless he sometimes felt, trying to steer his son away from the mistakes he himself had made in the past. He often reflected on his own troubled youth and used his experiences as a cautionary tale for King. But the resistance was undeniable. King's defiance seemed to be growing stronger, and T.I. admitted that despite his best efforts, he sometimes felt as if he were talking to a brick wall. King's mother, Tiny, has also opened up about the emotional toll of parenting in the public eye. She acknowledged how difficult it was to raise children under such intense scrutiny. The judgment, she said, was relentless, with people often assuming they knew what was best for her family, even though they didn't know what went on behind closed doors. Tiny admitted that watching King struggle had been heartbreaking, but like T.I., she remained hopeful. She expressed that no matter how tough things got, they would continue to love King and try to guide him through this challenging phase. As any mother would, she just wanted to protect her child and see him thrive. With each public incident, the tension between King and his family became more apparent. It wasn't just a matter.
His ass going to prison. If he goddamn keep that shit up, his ass going to prison. Ain't no way around.
What's your name? My name King. You know it and your mama know it. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day.
Matter of a rebellious teen making mistakes, it was becoming a family drama played out on a global stage. As fans and critics weighed in, the debate about King's behavior shifted from simply discussing his actions to questioning his parents' role in shaping who he had become. Were they too lenient with him? Had they failed to instill enough discipline? Or was King simply struggling to navigate life as a young adult with all the pressures of fame and expectation weighing down on him? On social media, the comments poured in. Supporters of T.I. and Tiny empathized with the challenges of raising a teenager, especially one under the intense spotlight that comes with celebrity. They pointed out that no parent was perfect, and every family faced struggles, just not as publicly as the Harris family. Many fans also defended King, saying that teenage rebellion was a natural part of growing up and that he deserved to make his own mistakes without having his every move scrutinized by the public. On the flip side, some critics accused T.I. and Tiny of being too lenient with their son, allowing him to grow up without enough boundaries. They suggested that King's behavior was a direct result of the wealth and privilege he was born into, without the necessary discipline to balance it out. The situation seemed to grow more complicated as both T.I. and Tiny were caught in the crossfire of public opinion. The added pressure of being famous parents, who were constantly under the microscope, only made the task of guiding their children even more difficult. But despite the criticism and judgment from the outside world, one thing remained clear: T.I. and Tiny were trying their best. They loved their son, but they were clearly at a loss for how to handle the situation. As the situation unfolded, people began to ask whether King was simply struggling with the typical growing pains of adolescence or if there were deeper issues at play. Was his behavior a reflection of a deeper need for attention or something more profound? Was he acting out because he felt trapped in the shadow of his famous parents?
Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he?
These were the questions that the public seemed fixated on, and the answers remained unclear. So, what's next for King Harris and the Harris family? As the drama continues to play out in public, the future remains uncertain. Fans have noticed that both King and his parents have toned down their activity on social media. Perhaps this is a sign that the family is trying to handle their issues more privately. But knowing the Harris family's history of transparency, it's hard to say whether this silence is temporary or part of a larger strategy to address the drama behind the scenes. For King, the road ahead could go in a number of directions. This could be the wake-up call he needs to reflect on his actions and begin to make changes. After all, many young adults go through phases of rebellion, and with the right guidance and support, King could come out the other side as a more grounded individual. He has the advantage of being surrounded by successful role models in his family, and perhaps he could use this time to channel his energy into something more positive. Music, entrepreneurship, or philanthropy could be potential paths that allow King to grow and mature in a healthy way, away from the drama. However, there is also the possibility that this pattern of behavior could continue, potentially leading to even more public controversies. The harsh glare of the spotlight means that every misstep is magnified, and with the world watching, it's difficult for King to navigate the turbulence of growing up without facing significant public backlash. At the end of the day, the Harris family is not immune to the struggles that come with raising children, but the added weight of fame makes everything more challenging. With each passing day, more people are invested in the drama, eagerly awaiting the next chapter of King's story. As for T.I. and Tiny, it's clear that they're not just dealing with a rebellious teenager, they're also dealing with the public's judgment of their parenting. So, what's next for King and the Harris family? Will King rise above the controversy, or will he continue down a path of rebellion? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, this saga isn't over yet. The world will be watching closely, and everyone seems eager to find out how this family's story unfolds next.